Alright, so AC/DC, highway to hell. You know what that means? It's going from 120 volts alternating to 120 volts direct by jumping or coming down as lightning via the highway to hell, which is just a one-dimensional line as a cosine wave traveling 5 pi over 2. Now, cosine always starts at a positive 1 on the y-axis. In cellular mathematics and cellular energy, as my model dictates, a 1 is equal to 60 millimeters. 60 millimeters times 2 would be the diameter of heaven, or if it was a circle, which it is, a bunch of rings. In my model, it's a 2 by 2 by 2, okay? Which means 120 millimeters across, okay? Now, think of it. You're going to be charging the rings, okay? You're going to be doing, there's a X, Y, Z coordinate. Remember, you're going to have voltage, current, voltage. You're going to have your snowflake. Remember my voltage video, okay? You're going to get 4 feeds off of 6 faces and 4 feeds off of 8 vertices, totaling 168 volts if you are able to get 3 volts alternating off of every guy with no current. Now 168 volts times 2 is 336 volts. 336 volts is what is needed for one 220 circuit and one 120 circuit, because you're not really getting 120 and 220. You're more like getting 117 and 219 or something, okay? The math works, okay? Now, the only way to get that voltage would be to take one feed from the ABC wheel, or feed, okay, the 3 wires on the faces, and you connect it to the 5 wires of the A, off of the ABC, the 3-phase, off of the vertices. So when you connect the wire from the face and the vertices, you should be getting 2 circuits. One is a 220 and one is a 120, approximately. Now, highway to hell, yeah, highway to hell. You come down as lightning, okay? It's a lightning bolt is a cosine wave going from here, making the V, and then going back down to the magnet on the axle, okay? It'll only work with unique divine symmetry, meaning that the only way it's going to work, the model, it won't work with one axle going. You're going to have to construct all 14 axles in unique symmetry with 14 wheels, times, 6 faces, 3, 8 vertices, 5 each. You're going to have 40 wheels on the vertices, and you're going to have 6 times 3 is 18 wheels on the faces. You're going to have 58, right? 18 and 40? Yeah. 158 wheels. No, sorry, 58 wheels turning, okay? And every wheel that turns is going to generate one feed that needs to be linked in series with the other wheels on that axle to create 4 circuits of 120-ish. 168 volts, sorry, 168 volts. Okay, so now, again, my calculations earlier dictated that the magnet in heaven needs to be 5 millimeter radius, meaning 10 millimeter diameter, or 1 centimeter diameter, whereas the rings need to have 22 millimeter diameter ring magnets, okay? When you have a ring magnet, it's kind of possible that the walls of the ring magnet are 5.5 millimeters thick. Add them together, you get 11 millimeters thick, which gives you 10 millimeters of hole, okay? A 1 is a bar magnet, is a hockey puck. A 1 is a one-dimensional line in a circle, like a washer or a ring magnet. A 1 is also a filled-in circle. When you go from AC to DC, when you have 12 volts alternating current, okay, and your rings of heaven, your 3 XYZ rings are going to be connected together, fused together, charged with 120 or 168 volts alternating, and you're going to go to direct when it crosses that gap, okay? You're creating the cube of Mecca. It's a black hole, but it's a black cube, okay? The black cube is only created when you have 14 magnets in heaven on the end of axles, okay? Tilted at 23.4 degrees and rotating, okay? It's what you need to contain it, I guess. And if you have the negatively charged 168 volts alternating connected to the axle, and the axle is 1 with the rings on the interior and exterior of the wheel, so that'll be all milled by CNC machine, let's say out of steel. and you were to position the magnets on the wheels just by like sticking it to a fridge and position the 42 bigger interior magnets and 8 smaller exterior magnets around the solenoids, 36 of them wound 400 times each, and in 3-pole, 3-phase, 4-quadrant configuration with 3 wheels and 5 wheels. That's a lot of power. It's a lot of watts, okay? Remember, power is watts. It's current times voltage. Turn my free energy cell upside down, it spells watts. Okay? I think the math dictates that this is possible. Now, I looked up the cost of 3D printer. You can get 3D printer for $1,000. You can get 3D printer, probably a decent one with all the bells and whistles, the size you need, for probably like $5,000. Okay? The 3D printing would be nice in order for me to use the software to model whatever I need to model it onto digital. Okay, so I need to start drawing this. I need to have all the parts. I need to have all the measurements of all the part pieces and where it needs to be recessed and what needs to be milled. I need to know what ceramic bearing or the best type of bearing you can get looks like, so that I can incorporate the size of the bearing into the modeling. Anyways, if I make it all out of 3D printed shit, it's obviously not going to be the right part, but I can always replace out the wheel with a CNC milled metal wheel. Okay, I can always line these 3D printed rings of heaven with metal, like sheet metal, maybe steel, just, you know, and insulate the 3 rings that connect to the 2 rings that connect. The 2 rings that connect are your eyes on the X that hold the 4 times 2, the 8 axles on the vertices of a cube. So I think I've completed the circuit diagram. I think I know what the materials are. Okay, what goes to the outlet are going to be what you feed your solenoids with. So when you start your wire and you start your windings, whatever the end bit, that'll be your positive end. Once you go through all your windings, clockwise, counterclockwise, and out, or clockwise, or counterclockwise, counter, and out, that's your positive and negative. That's what you're going to be plugging into your outlet. And I think you're going to be going from analog to digital. That's your rectifier. That's your voltage rectifier, okay? It's a spark gap. It's the jump that needs to be taken. The energy needs to cross from the rotation created by the magnetism, hopefully. You know, Frankenstein needs a charge. You need an electric charge. You need to put the wires somewhere. So let's power the wheels. Let's power the rings of heaven, and let's see if we can get that voltage to cross from alternating to direct, that we can use via the wires coming out of the solenoids into outlets to power our things. Now, I don't care how you think of how I came to these conclusions, but you know what? It is here, and it is now. We are here, it is now. So forget all that nonsense. I'm actually serious now about doing this. I would love to hear what you think. Okay? Cheers.